Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the fourth and final quarterfinal here on this fine Saturday. A very close one in that last set goes 6, but NIP, the favorites in that matchup, are able to bring it out. Again, hats off to the Renegades. Great season from them, at least in the quarterfinal week. I think that's the big thing. Gormizer joins me on the desk, by the way, for this fourth and final set. I think that's the big thing. The 2019 year, split-wise wasn't the best for the Renegades, but I think the turnaround that they showed in this last week, that's something to maybe take away.
I think even the improvements over the year, granted, like you said, the set scores don't necessarily show it, but a lot of those initial sets, like in the first phase, were nothing. Towards the end of it, they started getting things together. In the second phase, they started kind of sealing the deal a little more often, pushing sets further and further before losing them. And then this week, they started finally getting those wins. Unfortunately for them, that did come to an end here. But it is still impressive to see the changes they've made, kind of with a roster that they weren't really expecting to use all year either. I mean, with the way things were going, they were just kind of like, yeah, Moonchopper, I guess you'll play off-tank because it's easier to find DPS players.
Well, good showing for them, but they are not in this last quarterfinal, and that is Virtus.Pro versus Kanga. And we talk about kind of split 1 versus split 2. Looking back at Phase 1, Virtus.Pro finished 6-8, good for 6th place in Phase 1. Kanga, 6-8, 5th place in Phase 1. Kanga kind of repeated a similar performance, 4-10 in Phase 2, finished in 7th place. Now, Virtus.Pro is where that kind of changes. The big swing for them was in Phase 2. If you are just looking at Phase 2 standings, after the roster swaps they made, they bring in Crunchy, they bring in Erase, they improve to 2nd, 10-4 in Phase 2 standings, and then finish off the split with a big win over Envy to put them in your 3rd seed, and that's why they're facing off versus Kanga today.
The biggest thing is that their matchup results, 3-1. Kanga have been winning this. We were talking about it the other day when Kanga kind of very obviously decided they wanted to go for Virtus.Pro over trying to fight Envy today because they recognize that Envy, even if they are in a quote-unquote weakened state, as people had seen maybe coming into today might change that thought, are the one they've beat the most. And a lot of that will come through with the consistency of Dosups right there in front of you. I mean, he has been, I want to say, off and on throughout various champions. I bet most of these will be in Nara for his replays because it's where he's been the most success for him on this champion. But at the same time, there's these moments where it doesn't work out for him. There was a while that they were sticking to it, and whether you want to say it was the Pule-Hecate kind of duo they had with him or Crunchy Arrays with him, that it was not successful, and then it just kind of pivoted and has been more or less better for them lately.
Well, he has a perfect 888 kills here in Season 3. I imagine that number will go up quite a bit here in this quarterfinal matchup. It'll need to if Virtus.Pro want to match up well against Kanga. I'm excited to watch this matchup. Dosups and what he brings to the table and how, you kind of mentioned it, not necessarily the picture of consistency, but the potential started to really connect there, I think, towards the end for Virtus.Pro, going technically, if you want to look at the matchup, up against Jules for Kanga. Dosups is going to play a big role in a Virtus.Pro win here today. Lots of pressure, I think, on everyone for Virtus.Pro. And you mentioned it. You look back at this matchup, 3-1 for Kanga. Kanga win both in Phase 1.
Yeah.
They split in Phase 2 with the most recent in Week 14 of Phase 2 being 4-1 for Kanga. It seems to be one of those matchups where Kanga is kind of that unpredictable team.
Not only that, but when you look at it, VP, the one match they won was during that hot streak where they came through and they eliminated anyone and everyone in the league. They beat every single team that they could. And the second time, they take a little bit of a break. They come back. Everyone's like, man, is the hot streak over? And the answer felt like yes, because they lost a lot more coming through. Kanga winning Week 14 as a 4-1 is foreboding. I think a lot of what is going to happen today between these two teams is going to depend on what Virtus.Pro shows up. Is it the team that showed up at the beginning of Phase 2, or is it the team we got at the end?
I think you could say actually some similar stuff about Kanga. Kind of an unpredictable team in the sense that their drafting has been kind of hard to lock down, I think, from time to time. The play styles constantly changing up. They've sort of formed themselves into that team where, early adopters of IO, maybe we throw a sneaky little pick in here and there. It's very hard to lock down what play style you're going to get, and maybe that's a reason they match up so well against Virtus.Pro. We talked about Dosups needing to be pretty consistent for the Virtus.Pro team. I think Chronix has a big day ahead of him here in that's kind of been a teeter-totter that we've seen where if Chronix is having a big day, a big game, Kanga usually wins.
And honestly, you want to look at this. First off, 1441 kills throughout Season 1, or Season 3, throughout this entire season. 1 year of play for him. And this guy is the heart and soul of Kanga's victories.
Yeah.
I think when it comes down to it, Chronix might just be, well, again, top 5 DPS in the world, which considering every team has 2, it's pretty high up there. I mean, he does so much so well. And there are times where the rest of the team, they can be doing pretty poorly, and they don't really care. They will absolutely find themselves some control. A big week for him as well. While we see the Season 3 stats there, is actually able to get a 2.1 this week, just in terms of qualifier play. Did really well for them. They dropped 1 set, but admittedly, it's kind of, or a couple sets, sorry. But at the same time, it was SSG who beat them 3-1 and then 3-0. Just being able to kind of keep it going for them. Kanga have been incredible. And so I'm wondering if, Chronix is going to play as big of a role in that. I think he's going to be. And admittedly, if you can handle him or at least draft around him, then that might be enough to give you a chance here. Otherwise, Arrays has his work cut out.
Yeah, that's a tall task. We're all waiting with bated breath here. We're going to do a quick reset on our back end, send it to a 5-minute break, and when we come back, our 4th and final quarterfinal. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. Still on board with Virtus.Pro versus Kanga. Gormizer, let's jump right back into the discussion. We know the seeding technically in this matchup dictates 3 for Virtus.Pro, 6 for Kanga.
Yeah.
Is it an upset if Kanga win this set? I mean, on paper, I think these teams are close enough that I don't know if I can call it an upset.
I think if you asked most people, the answer would probably blanket be yes. Not just because of standing, but just because Virtus.Pro is, again, still considered one of the hottest teams right now, looking very solid as they did in Phase 2. So it would be considered an upset because of how prominent Virtus.Pro have been this latter half of the year. But I don't think so. I think it's actually more expected of Kanga in my eyes because of how well they've been playing, not just this week, but against Virtus.Pro in general.
Well, Fish, Market, and Splitstone Quarry banned out, as well as Waters Gate and Ice Mines. I like Virtus.Pro taking away Waters Gate. I think that's a strong map for Kanga that they have definitely found themselves a couple of wins on. Stone Keep is the battleground for match number 1. Keep your eyes peeled for well, Bomb King maybe, some Victor. And this is kind of a matchup where there is obviously some overlap in champion pools. But, you know, I think blaster-wise, if you can get Freeze God on, like, the Eevee or the Mave, or even the Willow, that's kind of where he is. He can do amazing on the Bomb King. I'm not discounting Freeze God for a moment. But I think Kanga are probably going to be quicker to jump on that Bomb King, give it to Evil Eye maybe than Virtus.Pro would.
Oh, for sure. I mean, especially after this last week with how important Bomb King has felt in a lot of these like big land moments. Even earlier with Renegades, you saw Shadow on Stone Keep doing ridiculously good plays with the Bomb King. I think he has more merit here than most people would probably give credit to. And I think depending on how much they've been paying attention, Virtus.Pro are going to fall into that. Fish Echo is a phenomenal Bomb King, though. Is definitely someone who will pretty much forever fall under a huge threat if you put him on Bomb King. But I like the way Kanga approached this. A meta ban for each team with the Willow and the Strix.
There's
and
hope yet.
Target bans. Io, they know Gera loves it. They know it causes a lot of trouble. Kanga just say, okay, cool. Dosup's what you got. And they get rid of that Inara.
And they're going to get Makoa Barrick for their frontline duo. Rhino, I think it's easy. Maybe it's not so easy, but I think you have to look at him and realize the potential that he has to turn games around.
Yeah.
And that off-tank role throughout this split, he has cemented himself in the discussion for potentially one of the best. You give him Makoa, give Barrick for Joel's as well. That's a winning combo for Kanga.
Yeah, no, it's incredible to get for your front lines there. And with the Inara ban, you also force Virtus.Pro if they want a dedicated point tank. They either have to flex a Con, which we've seen a couple teams do, pull out a Terminus, which we've seen Dosups do, or the one that I think is most likely, especially on Stone Keep, it's not that far-fetched to think of Fernando to potentially come into that. But because they already have their 2 tanks, you don't have to worry about that right now. I think the conversation should be support plus what else do we have? Looks like they are going to focus on the tank, which is okay. They could actually flex this into a triple tank if they want to as well. With the Bomb King, they've been doing their homework.
We figured that would be an important maybe pivot pick in this matchup. Again, I think that Kanga definitely would have gone there if still available. And so not only is Fisheko very good on the Bomb King, I think taking that threat away from Evil Eye, very important as well. Yeah. Now you look at the Blaster kind of position, you wonder maybe where they go if you're Kanga. I don't know if they'll decide here and now. Maybe leave that last one open for a flex. But Cassie for Chronix, very potent as well.
I'm wondering what they're going to do for Evil Eye. A lot of the picks that I can think of, Eevee, he's most prominent on. I would actually think Mave. Eevee open. Just not sure how much she could accomplish on this. They might be saving him. He could also be the Cassie. They could go something different.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Just to grab for Chronix and have 2 backline if they really want to. I think it's this weird dynamic where Willow and Bomb King are hands down going to be some of your best blasters here. Depending on if they get a hit scan, though, Drogos could also slot into Stone Keep pretty well.
It's nice
we haven't really seen a lot of Grover at all today, Gore. It's been kind of the balance between Furia, Damba, and Genos.
Welcome to the Main Street.
Virtus.Pro, Vex loves himself some Grover. I think Stone Keep, one of Grover's better maps, so I'm not necessarily surprised to see him here. Talk about the Drogos. It is being hovered here for Kanga. Do you like the Grover pickup for Virtus.Pro?
I do. I actually think Grover, first off, Vex has made some insane plays on Grover. made some insane plays on Grover on this map as well. So a lot of this comes perfectly in the wheelhouse for Virtus.Pro. I very much like what they're going to do. A very good keep composition that they're going to be playing. They're going to have a lot of control there. But it is the Drogos for Kanga, and that is where the disconnect comes through. Bomb King has trouble dealing with Drogos. He's up in the air. My shot's arc. It's difficult to handle. Right. But we have seen several Maves kind of tackle that and deal with that in a very convincing fashion in the past.
They do have a little bit of aerial poke between Atlas and Khan, and, you know, Mave maybe jumping high for Erase. Ladies and gentlemen, we got 10 champions locked in here. 2 teams remaining, 1 slot left to fill. Let's go down to game 1 and your casters.
Kanga versus VP, the very, very last set. Once again, Font and Kresnik on the mic down here in the commentator's booth. And you got the Atlas Khan. And talk about that a little bit, Kresnik, because you were saying that VP were denying the triple tank.
Yeah, when they took it that early, I think it was purely to just keep them from having triple tank on the other side. It's a threat. Kanga have been shown to run basically anything. Right. So you just take away that option from them. And I'm pretty happy for VP with how that draft ended up. I think, yes, the Drogos on the other side will be lethal, but Mave, Khan, and Atlas all are pretty decent dealing with them. Definitely looking like a more keep-sided composition, for sure. You don't want to put yourself in church. Even though I think that composition can play in church, right. I don't think you want to put yourself at a height disadvantage like that.
Well, I mean, already, we're about to start off the very, very last match of the day. The match starting in 5 seconds. And as soon as everything is already open, the gates are open, and hell is probably going to be breaking loose. We have Kanga Esports versus Virtus.Pro. I'm so ready. Already a good shot directly on the Fasheko, but he's all the way up in heaven. He's focusing down on his high ground, drops down, tries to throw out a few bombs at Joel's, but all he's going to do is force him off.
Step back to the point as well, and might go down for that. Jules immediately melted, and that's a great start for VP.
Already looking good for them, but Evil Eye is not going to let his comrade die in vain, as he's going to trade out Josephs to make sure that they can now even this up 1-1, but the percentage building in VP's side. He tries to use a setback right around the corner, but it's not going to play a role yet. 60% for Virtus.Pro. A good shot on the Rhino, and still Kanga taking her time.
Sheko was in a good position, drops down now. This temporal divide's going to slow things down so much. They had to get off the point, though. Sheko, a little aggressive. Might dive here, might actually end up going down. Direct, so Evil Eye takes down Fasheko on that aggressive push.
That's the Fusillade, baby, living with 96 health levying. Take care of Cruncy as well. Joseph's in the one in fire. Now making his way towards Banana, trying to use that emote to 3-peek, try and see around that corner. And Evil Eye's the one that's going to come right back around. He's going to keep that pressure directly onto him. They know where he is. They are definitely going to try and keep up this pressure. You already see that he's getting pincered right now. Kardex on one side, Evil Eye on the other. You're getting sandwiched. Gara even wants a piece, and he's going to get the last hit. But Array's going to go all the way to the back line. But they're going to peel for him. He's not going to go down yet.
Array's whiffed. He could have taken down Gara there, but misses the final daggers. 90%. If VP want to win this, they have to just buy time. This Dragon Punch is going to make sure they have no time left to buy.
Here comes the Dragon Punch with Cruncy's name directly onto it. 1-0 so far. Kanga will net their first point against Virtus.Pro with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left, having just captured.
Fasheko still holding this heaven area, though. Kind of keeping it locked down. Doesn't realize the Mako is coming from behind, nice. And Rhino and Chronic's team have to take him down. This is the start of some good aggression here, Evil Eye, with a great start to this game. And I've mentioned that Scrim Evil Eye and Match Evil Eye have kind of been 2 different players throughout this entire season. If Kanga wants to move on in this bracket, if they want to make it to the semifinals at HRX, we have to see Scrim Evil Eye become Match Evil Eye, I think. And we've been seeing it a lot more lately. This is already a look at what we could be seeing here. Flame coming in. I'm not sure what it's going to buy for Kanga. It might be just be stopping this push from VP.
Good daggers from Arrays. You have the salvo out there. Throws out the fire spin, but the divider goes up a little bit too early. He's going to be able to take care of Fasheko. Joel's coming right around that corner, letting a direct shot. Cruncy, he's going to try and use that second chance to give himself literally a second chance at life. But a good hook on a Doseps. The rewind is there, but it's a little bit too late, buddy. You're already dead. So is Doseps as well. And now we already see that the Mave's already in the back line. Array's going to be taken care of. Vex still on point, and you got some good pushing and some good kills coming out from Kanga.
The shield from Rhino 2 was fantastic. Perfectly saved his back line. Managed to take down the flank because of that. Now, Kanga in a decent position here. They have ultimates. I'm not sure what they want to spend. They already used it in Flame. Might not use anything else. Aggressive push from Arrays. Might go down for it. Has to back up. And now Cruncy kind of got baited. Backing up with very low HP. Vex goes down. That's no healing for the whole team.
No healing at all on this final push. That's going to be absolutely rough. There goes the last chance of healing they had just with that battle shout, but he's going to get stunned. Cruncy takes care of Evil Eye, but what are you doing? The rest of your team's already in the dirt. And second point for Kanga on Stone Keep.
Cruncy 500 HP. He's not going to be able to do much much of anything there. I think they had a decent start to that fight, but they just couldn't hold on to what they got at the start. Rays missing those daggers into Gera really was crucial. Finding that pick maybe could have turned things. They could have had their damage stick just a little bit more. Getting a support pick doesn't really matter as much. That out-of-combat healing can be so impactful. 12 kills between both DPSs. Only them, and then at least 2 everybody else. What is that kill ratio? 9, 6, 15, 19 to 2? That is a pretty one-sided game.
Yeah,
I would say. If I was watching a MOBA and I saw that at the top, I would assume the game is already over.
Yeah, I would just all F4 if that was me on the other team, to be honest with you. But, however, we're not looking at MOBAs right now. We're looking at good old Paladins, baby. A good old dismount once again from Evil Eye, making sure that he's actually able to group that damage up and make sure they are once again all dismounted. No percentage yet. The fights have just begun. They've come out of the base, and the Exile actually rips through. He's going to be able to find Joel's, keep him right there, but Rhino's going to be able to provide that life assurance policy in the form of Makoa Shield. But you already heard Furia. The decree is there. Show them no mercy, followed by the Midnight of the Scout to brighten up their day. They already have the Whirlwind in the back line. Array's going to be able to be targeted, but the rest of Kanga are pushing up with 21% on the point. But you're going to be able to be grabbed by the Overpower. They're going to be able to take care of Evil Eye. A good King Bomb, but he's going to be able to be hooked. Once again, the Divider to save his teammate and Virtus.Pro are fighting back.
Every ult gets spent at the same time. Fishigo get away here. Dome Shield actually used to buy even more time, but I think Chronix might be overextending in the front here. Fishigo pushing forward to trade, barely gets Gera. Joel's is going to fall now as well, and with this double comeback mechanic, VP are in a great position to convert this point.
Rhino, Gera, Joel's, all of them are down. Chronix being one of the most recent ones to die in that very, very interesting mid-fight right there. Evil Eye throwing out the rockets, literally tossing them out, using the fire spin as well. Drops down to 78% already. Gera's going to find the opening kill on the Rays. He's actually going to try and use it just a touch, but will it be in time? It won't be. He's going to die just in the middle and allow VP to cap.
The last time Dragon Punch would have let him touch that point was probably an OB40. Sometime before that. Fishigo living in the Evil Eye, excuse me, might be going back, harkening back to some of his old days playing Paladins, but we're in the here and now. PWC 2019. Game for qualification, the final one of the day. Fishigo trying to get aggressive with his team. 3 people stunned with that Pyre Strike, but they're behind the Divider. They're all perfectly safe. Evil Eye's not. He goes down, and Cruncy follows it up with Joel's as well.
Nicely done. A Cruncy double kill already with the Rays, opening things up. They already caught him in the corner. Rhino's going to try and make it back, but it's a little bit too late. They're going to be able to crack open that turtle shell and find themselves a kill on the Rhino. Now they're able to push in. 1 minute and 45 seconds left for Virtus.Pro just as they're rounding the corner. They're in fire. They're in their position, and hopefully they can be able to keep this zone.
All that resilience for Kanga is going to come in handy as we get later into the game. A lot of CC on Virtus.Pro's side. Grippling throw, Midnight. Commando's grab technically gets effective even without Vortex grip. And then Cruncy and BK, that's so much CC. Kanga rushing that, I think, is going to make a huge impact as we get closer and closer to the late game. So Joel's kind of caught out here. Evil Eye's spam, saving him for now, but not long enough. Chronix down to an axe from Vex.
Nicely done from Vex, just being able to be in the right position to land axes just like those. Chronix, Joel's, both of them are down. They're done. 1 minute 10 remaining. They're going to have to try and see if they can even stall, but the pressure is so much. They're literally in spawn. They're all grouped up. Rhino has to use that shield to try and get out. The Divider goes out, so they're all going to have to drop down and try and apply some pressure, but they won't. They're going to opt to let this game go for a 2-2 tie.
This game swung back and forth so fast. Both these teams are in control when they want to be. Now, 2-2 even. No comeback mechanic, so no desperate Drogo's ult touch is necessary. The side that's getting pushed into. And this was, I believe, Cruncy's double kill here. Fantastic play from the Atlas. Atlas does so much damage. Able to help clean up for his team very, very effectively. 1350 on a headshot. It's definitely not something you can ignore. Actually ended up being a triple.
Yeah.
Cruncy running straight through that team. Damage charts. Kanga mostly in the lead. Barrack ahead of the Atlas. The only person kind of still hanging in there on VP's side is Fishigo, but look at those streaks. None of them going down during that offense. Kanga, though, couple ultimates up. No Ancient Rage, no Dome Shield. They will be charged in time. So more or less 5 versus 5 ults. But a lot of resilience up for Kanga. It's going to be the difference maker as we head into this point fight.
2-2 tie already with 6%. Kanga are going to find the opening percentages for their team. The Divider actually goes out using that Beyond and Veil to actually get some extra movement speed. The Midnight as well. They're just looking at Joel's. He's going to get blown up. 12% for Kanga once again. But because they have died, they're going to have to back off just a little bit. The Overpower is there directly on the Rhino. He's going to be held up for his team to gain some ult charge and another kill.
I don't know about Joel's play there. As soon as that Divider came up, I think he had to find a way to get back to his team. He doesn't have Dome Shield. He can't play that aggressively. Going for point time, and now the Scout and the Inflame more or less wasted on Kanga's side. They're going to have to go in for something desperate. Spend an ultimate probably just to lock down that point. Vex holding a great angle here, backing up to his team safe and sound. Divider comes up, and Fishiko might be following up on it.
Nice. King Bomb to actually come in as soon as the Dome Shield gets dropped. Joel's is going to be the first one to go down. The Dragon Punch comes out, he's looking for Crunchy, but he used the second chance. He's not going to be able to live for very much longer, though. 99% to a point conversion for Virtus.Pro. Having used all those ultimates is going to be absolutely worth to be able to not only get a couple more kills, but another point.
Quick turnaround for VP. Started down 0-2, but immediately turned this game around. Great use of their ultimates, I think, and honestly, Jules needs to slow his game down. He is constantly getting caught out by the CC, by the pressure from Kanga Esports. On Barrack, you have to be juggling your cooldowns perfectly to stay alive. He's not the easiest point tank to do work with, and Joel's currently struggling. Aggression on the left, a great hook actually,
nice.
Onto a raise in the air, might help Kanga stabilize here.
Very beautiful hook from Os Rhino to be able to land that hook directly onto a raise, and Chronix is gonna get the last hit. Fight right next to Fire as well as up on the bridge. Both teams are clashing head to head in what could be a final push for VP. They're starting off by killing Joel's, starting off by killing Rhino as well. Cross to the back trying to get Pacheco, but the well's too strong. Okay, he's going to be able to still get that kill regardless. 1:30. Cross all the way on the back. They know he's back there though. Gara's going to go down. Cross is going to die as well. He's actually really just going to have to.
24 streak and 22 streak on VP's side. So hard to take down this Con and Grover. So sustainable. Also, Overpower almost available, and Whirlwind. The sooner we can use Whirlwind, the better before those cauterized 3s are online. I want to give up this card a little bit, though. Everyone's waiting so patiently, and actually this disengage might have kind of countered this inflame.
1:10 already remaining. We already see that Arrays has to back off, but they got 1:05 left. Divider out. Grumpy Bomb in, and now they're going to try and find their opening, but once again, the pressure is just too much from Kanga Esports. They have the scout, they had to use it. They are really just trying to hold on as best they can, but Joel's once again being a little bit too much. Evil Eye with some nice direct rockets followed by the King Bomb. The court has ruled that you're going to end up dying. Rhino's going to go down for sure, but so is Pacheco. We're trading out 1 for 1, but now we're trading out 1 for done as Virtus.Pro are being able to push this in and potentially capture this point. Joel's on point, but once again, he's going to be one of the only ones left. He's actually stalling quite long despite that. The Divider goes out, but a good rewind from Crunchy. They're just going to be able to focus Fire down one after the other. And really, Rhino's still in the fight. He's still holding on with a good Dragon Punch of his own.
They still have a chance to refight this, though. Exile coming in. I think it caught Evil Eye, but he's out. A lot of resilience on their side, but Rhino coming out early means he can get shot first, and Rhino goes down to an action Vex.
Vex 30, finding that kill directly onto Rhino. Now Joseph's with a good overpower, staring directly at Evil Eye. Doesn't want to eat too much, but a good dash from Gara, using that escape tool to actually save his teammate. Vex, though, double kill on him. Gara's trying to fight. Jones is finding that kill. The stall is still happening. Great hook and setback as well. Vex has the Divine Grip out of there. He was going to die. Rhino drops down to try and save Jones, but still not enough yet.
They might have the immunity from the Inflame to keep this alive, but both tanks are down. They have to stall this cart. Only Evil Eye above it. He goes down. Fisher goes fighting every single kill, and Chronix might follow.
Chronix is right there. Gara is as well, but they're still going to go down in an amazing last fight for this very first game against VP and Kanga.
That was unreal. I can't believe Vex got away. That was the biggest shock to me. Vex getting away from that hook setback combo, pulling him all the way into the spawn. The damage just wasn't ready. I mean, to be fair though, how are you ready for? I went to get a hook at mid range, and now he's in our spawn.
Yeah.
How do you calm that to your team? Guess there's no way to, and that's kind of why he was able to walk away and keep his team alive. Grover, I can't wait to see the healing numbers for that, because Grover must have output so much sustain, keeping his team up and ready to just keep them going that whole time. Vex didn't die until super, super late in that game.
Yeah, shoutouts to Kanga for being able to hold for as long as they did. I really thought it was going to be over. I was like, okay, well, there's only one person left, but they just kept falling one after the other. VP with the first game, though, right after this break will be game 2.
Well, the game started off in Kanga's favor, and that's about it. The game ended on Virtus.Pro's side. Big turnaround from them to keep themselves in the game. And a good way to start off some momentum here in our fourth and final quarterfinal. Gormizer, we thought that maybe the Bomb King was going to have a pretty big impact on the pick and ban phase. We also said Fasheko was very good at it.
Yeah.
He shows us why.
And exactly what you would have wanted to see. Very similar to what we've seen out of Shadow when it comes down to playing on this champion, on this map. Yep. Works out really well. I do have to say, credits, I think, more than anything. Max Streak, Dosup's 29, 28 there for Vex.
Yeah.
Very solid game to
yeah.
kind of create space for the 112,000 damage Bomb King. I think that's kind of where things were won. Dosup's does well on one side. Vex keeps them all healed up. Deaths might not matter as much, but it allowed Fasheko to get in there, get the kills, well, and then get out alive.
Hey, Evil Eye, the only other person in this game with double-digit kills, Fasheko had 6 more than Evil Eye. 16, 6, and 10 for him. I agree with you. So much of it on the space, the area, the sustain that Virtus.Pro was able to buy for him. But Fasheko's the type of guy where you give him some space, you give him a little bit of time, and he'll make good on it.
And that's all he needs in a lot of these scenarios. And the thing I love the most, and this isn't as uncommon, especially at this level of play, just every time you hear those bombs connecting, it's just on point. Like, I mean, he is tracing them perfectly with a lot of this damage, making sure to get anything and everything. Of course, closed it out with, what, 4 or 5 almost. Dosup steals
Quadra.
that 5th.
Yeah.
Just to make sure. It should have been a Penta, and I'm going to give him full credit for it. Dosup took that from me for Fasheko. That is an exclamation point on that game, right? That's like how you end it to let them know not only are you kicking and screaming, but you are dominating for this one and that you are looking for your win.
And I know there was a lot of kind of question this week going into quarterfinals about, is there an advantage for the teams that go through the placement rounds, get a whole week of prep and play time in the studio, versus the top 4 teams who are now coming in to fill in these quarterfinal spots? I don't want to try to recollect everything from today, but I think that the top-seeded quarterfinal teams that didn't play this week have taken the first map in a lot of these sets. This is no exception with Virtus.Pro taking the first map here on Stone Keep. And Kanga, they're going to take us to Frog Isle.
A good place to try and equalize things out. Also a bad place to potentially lose 2-0, depending on how things go at the very beginning. We saw maybe a lot of good. Kanga struggled up against SSG, and we'll ignore the second time they faced them this week and just go with the first time when it was a 3-1. They were able to find that one. But SSG came in, and you know, even though they were the quote-unquote hottest team coming out of the qualifiers, we saw that means a 4-1 against Envy, only taking the one map. This is a good place, again, for Kanga to maybe stabilize. But Virtus.Pro with the right draft here might just put them down. I mean, it could be a 2-0, and at that point, it starts to slip away from them, I think, a lot faster than they would be used to.
So this is going to be an interesting ban phase with Atlas and Willow both off of the board. Strix obviously plays a big role in pretty much everyone's team comp. And so does Kinessa. So now if you're Virtus.Pro, what you're juggling is the Makoa and the Strix. Do you ban one or the other, give one or the other over to Kanga, or do you, I don't want to say throw away, but choose an alternative option? Inara is usually a favorite to kind of plug into that second ban slot and take what's remaining between the Strix and the Makoa. I think Kanga smartly ban out the Kinessa, kind of keep things interesting here, because they are going to get one of Strix or Makoa here, but what they have to give up is now somewhat up to Virtus.Pro.
And I think, man, the threat's so high for either of those. And I like, get rid of the Maeve. It actually is kind of a double punch. Instead of like the Inara, which might hurt Joel's or something, punch Evil Eye. Knock him down a little bit. You now make them choose, do we want, you know, to have Cruncy on Makoa or Chronix? How important is it for him to get that Strix? I think they're probably going to hover that because it's been so kind to them in the past. I can't think of much reason to try and not give Chronix Strix. I mean, I can only remember, what, one of the last couple of weeks where he got to play it pretty much every single game. And, man, every single game, his slash line was beautiful.
I have quoted Guerra from our post-game interview after that set. They won, by the way, hundreds of times. And he said, and I brought up, because, you know, I'm not going to say they're the only adopters, but they were maybe the early adopters of this full-blown Strix meta. Give it to us on every single map. And so I asked I asked Gare about it, and he said, listen, I'm fine with Chronix carrying us every single game. I don't know who wouldn't be. And they obviously have a lot of confidence giving him the Strix here, because they're going to give up a pretty good bit in a Khan Makoa. The off-tank presence now, massive for Virtus.Pro. Kanga now left wondering where their front line goes.
And with a little bit of options, with Khan off the table and Makoa off the table, but Ashe still available, they could still try like Ashe Ruckus with an IO if they want to do a kind of double aggro tank IO composition, since that is kind of their favored. And I wouldn't be surprised if they at least try to get the IO, considering how much she's been impactful for them. A lot of their games where they found success has been with her. So it might be
Virtus.Pro would love an IO
tall
for their side, right? I mean,
yeah,
that would be a good pick, and maybe what they already have. So maybe if you're Kanga, do you take it away for that reason as well?
Yeah, I think it's double-edged blade, right? It's going to give you everything that you might need. They could hover on it. Strix Drogos, it's a good combo, but that does leave it open. VP can go something, hit scan, Leon's still available. Yeah, you don't have the Kinessa. Who needs it when you've got something like that? We know Arrays is more than adept at a Leon.
Does that surprise you, seeing them go Drogos this early on with so much potential for hit scan later in the draft?
That seems like that, in my mind, is screaming Evil Eye might not have enough in his pocket left after to go for it. Although I still feel like Bomb King could have fit there as well. Like, I feel like there's plenty of options that Evil Eye could fill in.
Yeah.
Drogos maybe too early. They lose the IO. They have to be setting up or planning for something else afterward. I can't think of many reasons to grab Drogos there, period. Like, just in general, let alone into the ability to be countered.
Well, it's clearly the beginnings of an IO draft, so Kanga, I think, mentally had to have been prepared for the IO if they for winter, which they did with the Drogos Barrack. I mean, sometimes you counter out double off tank with double point tank for yourself. A little extra sustain for that Inara and that Barrack. Well-rounded, maybe, for the Kanga draft here. Plenty of health pool. But I'm still nervous if they lock these two in of what Virtus.Pro can pivot to. You give Erase, a Leon, a Cassie. It's going to be tough flying for Evil Eye.
It's definitely not going to be looking too good. Again, my mind goes back to it. Also, it'd be interesting to see if VP wins. Just in general, I'm talking for semifinals, only because then Simsy, Erase, Cruncy from Penta all would be very dominant on land. It'll be interesting to see how that storyline progresses as time goes on. But
yeah, MSI was Erase's first LAN, right? And he won it, so.
And was MVP for it. And now you're potentially putting him on one of the champions that gave him MVP in a Leon. I would expect more than anything to take care of that Drogos. Cassie is also going to be good to deal with Barrack and Nara. This is probably some of the discussion they have going on, because big game is so good, but then you only really have Khan to deal with Drogos reliably, and that's not as good a bet that you would want to take. It kind of depends on which one you think is going to be the bigger threat, the tanks or the Dragon.
Well, still, you know, the potential for Cassie to hit some great shots on Evil Eye flying high above. It's not that you totally lose your potential there, but it's not as consistent maybe. Virtus.Pro agree, enough health presence on that front line for Kanga to select the Cassie. Assuming big game there for them, melt through the Inara, melt through the Barrack. Quick thought, they picked the Strix, they give away Khan Makoa, then they back up with the Drogos. Do you think Kanga gave up too much with what they have?
I think so. I think Khan Makoa IO is just, as a front line, going to do a lot better than the Barrack and Nara Maldamba. I think a lot of pressure is going to come down to Chronix, but as you mentioned earlier, they're perfectly fine letting Chronix carry them if need be. And he's in the position to do so. I think the Dragon's going to be a little back and forth for Evil Eye. A lot of the pressure's on Strix.
I think we'd be remiss, if we didn't mention the one-shot potential there. Game 2, let's see if Kanga can bounce back right now.
Yeah, I'm really... Okay, so I'm just going to put this out there because I don't know if this is controversial or whatever the case is. Okay, I'm really scared of Strix.
I don't think you're wrong about that.
Yeah, I'm really scared. Like, no, like, I actually have a fear of this man because of the fact of how much damage he can output, the fact that he got let through, and also just that he's scared me. Awesome.
It's definitely one of the scariest maps to play against him on, for sure. Frog Isle, very, very impactful map for the Strix, able to output a lot of damage. Tough to pin down for sure, especially with someone like Chronix playing it. Chronix on this Strix, he was kind of the premier person to have played Strix, being first picked, being prioritized over a lot of things. This Makoa got through, and that's going to be hard for Kanga to deal with, but if any team, if it's any person to be on Strix is worth it, it's got to be Chronix. He had such a phenomenal performance on this character. You can already see the zoning, the pressure he's putting on from that main, forcing them all into hiding. Yeah, I mean, 9% already for VP, but once again, they're stepping on the point, stepping off the point. Both teams are doing this 21% to 12, but Vex is going to be the first to go down, actually. They're going to take care of their healer, and that opens up the door for so many different opportunities, such as the potential of also being able to continue this zone push forward. Joel's actually gets hooked, but he actually gets hooked off of the side despite that, but he's not. He's going to take Cruncy down with him, though. Kills Cruncy as he's falling off the very edge, and aggression from Kanga, but I think Yuvi's going to punish this. I feel like this is where Yuvi's going to be doing the best, honestly, getting people off, catching people that are coming in on the side. You want to catch them as they're coming in, so you don't have to overextend into the strict sight lines, into the Drogos right now. Doe holding the point as long as he can, but Vex has to be careful. Io has to peek to heal, and if you're peeking into a Strix, that's not a good look. 57% flash out. You already see it. Well, they can't see, I should really say. The good wall to actually go up to make sure that they're actually blocked off. Really, really hard for them to actually try and turn this around, except for the scout. They get a kill on Chronix and Rhino. Evil Eye, the two of them are going to be able to find one apiece for themselves. Rhino is still alive despite all this, despite him getting run down, and the overpower doesn't send him off of the side. They are still alive. Joel's and Rhino, the two of them, are still alive despite all that, except for that. Except for he's actually still going to be on the side. This is goofy, man. Joel's just can't survive. I mean, Doe didn't jump when he was throwing Joel's off the edge, so Joel's managed to survive. Really close there, and Kanga get a conversion on the back of both of those potential executions, kind of falling flat, still surviving through another hook. Again, the damage just is not there to follow up on it. Now Evil Eye, though, standing here, trying to get some good damage. Fusillade rockets connecting. So much burst damage in there. Playing off it as well as they can. Like baiting this casket in, actually. Rhino dangerously low. Yeah, already. Once again, dangerously low is a perfect way to put it. Joel's is going to be the first to go down, though, as they're pushing the cart, rounding that corner. Chronix goes down soon after him, and you've got 2 kills for Virtus.Pro, along with a continual push. Rhino, though, is really, really low. He's still on the point, still able to contest for a little bit longer, and he's still alive despite all that. Wait, what's actually happening? He hasn't died yet. He's still just sitting up there, been contesting the entire time. Oh, yeah, and they are staggering him pretty hard as a result. A minute 40, he's still there. Really smart to stagger him there. His team's being zoned by the rest of them, so since he's only 1 HP, there's no way he's going to kill anybody. Maybe, what, you surrender a little bit of ult charge? He already has it. Who cares about that? We can just buy as much time as possible, because that's what defense really cares about. You want to burn the clock as much as you can to deny them a chance to convert that payload. Cruncy now, zoning here on the side. Might get a hook. Nice. Great block by Joel's, and that's actually might force Cruncy away. You kind of need those cooldowns, but looks like he wants to go in instead. You've got all of your ultimates, but you also have all of your teammates right there. Not going to use the Ancient Rage, but just going to try and run Chronix down. They are going to be able to get it, but the Fusillade damage might be a little bit too much, as well as Gara just being able to focus fire, using that gore to do that small but sure damage over time. He's actually being focused on by Pacheco in the back. Gara being taken care of, but still, the rest of Kanga are not stopping. They're not giving up any space with their push. Much better look for Joel's here as well, surviving through a lot of pressure. Kind of a night and day from last map. Disengaging, living through another hook. Damage just not there. Getting hooked when Cassie's dead basically means that there's going to be no follow-up. And Evil Eye using this Fusillade to spam it long range. 2, 3 directs straight in a row. Could open things up for Kanga potentially, but it looks like VP want to get aggressive. Fire Spit goes out, finds its mark, but Chronix finds not Evil Eye. Chronix finds Pacheco. A raise trades out with Joel's, but Chronix finds another, making it a very, very delayed double, but still, the pressure is there. The pressure that Kanga are exuding is a lot, and it's hard for VP to try and find that answer. Vex is getting dove right now, firing directly down at him. You got Rhino, you got Evil Eye focusing him, and now they're just going to turn on Cruncy and kill him as well. He's going to go down, and now Kanga have a pretty good chance to convert this right now, especially with Chronix and Evil Eye setting up in these long angles. They're holding the right. Does not connect on the wormhole, but it's still a lot of pressure onto Pacheco. Can't get too aggressive with his control, and he actually gets stuck ice blocking in front of a Strix. He might not be able to come out, but he does barely. Oh, man. The last moment, Chronix not connecting on that shot, but look how close the cart's getting to being converted. That Fusillade damage is so much for Dosif to actually be able to actually try and take. I mean, he used the battle shot already, and he's going to go down. Rhino is going to go down as well. They're trading out frontliner for frontliner, but the only difference is they've lost their damage, they've lost their support, and now Joel's one of the only surviving members on Kanga's team to be on payload. He's going to be forced off, and it's going to be a 1-1 tie. I love the healing priority that Vex has. It's kind of something that we haven't really been talking about, but every time that Evil Eye lands a direct, and it hits for 797, that's because of good prioritization from Vex. He's healing the people that are about to take damage, and that makes Goddess's Blessing so much better. Right. That's the reason why it's being picked over Lifelink. Also, the fact that using Luna as a heal totem is not good, but the fact that Goddess's Blessing can give you that much value on your target, it's huge. It's massive. Evil Eye, 0 deaths. Actually, I didn't even notice. He's died 2 less times than Gera. He's always getting away from these engagements because he's connecting all these shots and the people trying to chase him.
Go. I mean, in terms of itemization, is there anything that's really standing out to you?
A lot of Bulldozer on the left side, and that's because Evil Eye with the Fusillade is going to shred Luna. There's no chance Luna really has to survive. Directs across the way, applying a lot of pressure already, and there's aggression for Rhino in pain.
Yeah, already. I mean, even Cruncy is on the side. They're trying to push up a lot. Cruncy's going to go in there, but he has Ancient Rage. Evil Eye sort of smelt something fishy, and he's going to have to back off. Does not want to keep falling forward, but still, Cruncy with the double. He's going to be able to take care of Virtus.Pro, a triple for the young man, and still, he's going to be able to push.
Yeah, mount back into spawn. You're scared. Back up, Jules. Cruncy, Rampage stacking so hard he can dash all the way into their spawn. Gonna get all these dismounts. There is no chance for sure that Kanga have to touch this objective now. On the back of that Makoa pick. And we talked about how there's the Strix worth it, maybe in Chronix's hands, but that's just what Makoa can do. No other tank can get away with that level of aggression. That's what you get when you get Makoa. If any team wants aggression, it's VP.
There's the Dread Serpent directly on the Vex. Gera finds that kill onto Cruncy. Now you're looking at it. You got a raise as well. Luna's on the point, and you see it. I mean, they're still able to fight back. I mean, granted, VP have plenty of time to be able to make it back if they need to, but this is a start for Kanga.
For sure. Damage coming in from Kanga as well. Chronix have a good angle now. Now they're zoning into their spawn within 30 seconds. What a quick turnaround from VP, flipping it basically on its head. He's trying to find some angles, but he's going to have to get shielded by Cruncy as they try to move in through Joel's barricade. Yeah,
1:45 still remaining with Virtus.Pro still being right around that corner, biding their time and really trying to weigh their options. They know Kronk's all the way over there. They get a good hook onto him, and Fasheko falls up almost immediately. The Dragon Punch goes around. He's going to find Cruncy. He's going to find a raise, but Dosips is going to respond in kind by killing Evil Eye already when he had a double with his teammates.
Great pressure right now from Doe. He's going to buy a lot of time here. If he can live long enough to get into the commander's grab, he actually might be able to kill somebody over the edge. He's still turning this around. Buying as much time as he can. Both tanks going down. Now VP can rotate back to this objective. Chronix in a good position to slow them down, but not enough to stop them completely. Can I actually, really quickly, I wanted to talk about something, because I saw Simsaloo discussing this. Can we see the Drogoz' loadout really quick?
Okay.
So, okay, he's not running spit size. That was something that Simsaloo was running. And when someone asked him, the reason for it was that apparently there's a chance where if you hit someone at the same exact time that your spit hits them, you can not only explode the spit, but also get the damage boost from it. Burst someone for like 2,300 damage. So I wanted to see if he was running that increased size. Didn't really make a difference. But now Kanga stemming this aggression from VP.
35 seconds remaining as Virtus.Pro are steadily making their push and their rounds to try and get this one in. But it's already looking pretty good on the defensive side for Kanga. They got Fasheko, Vex, Dosips, 3 members down and just now respawning. And now they can get a zone from this. I mean, they've got 3 ultimates up still on Kanga's side. They've got Dread Serpent, Dome, Shield, Flashbang. They have their utility ultimates for sure. It's just a matter of when will they use them. It's probably going to be next round, more than likely.
For sure.
Yeah, I can't imagine them using it now.
It's going to be so hard to pressure this into a Strix and a Drogoz holding on this, especially with Fusillade in that Drogoz' hands. The only way they do this if they're willing to spend ults, and I'm not sure if that is worthy. They're diving now. They're going to see if they can get a dry push here. No ultimates used, but they actually spend overpower first.
The overtime is actually there, and because of that, they're going to be able to kill Evil Eye. Now, they swap targets. They're looking at Joel's now. They're trying to apply this much pressure. They want to be able to push this one in. They want to find their opportunity, but Cruncy might be getting a little bit too aggressive, but the IO pocket, still a little bit too much. The Shell Shield gets dropped. Fasheko goes in, but he's still really low. A good hook directly on the Joel's, and they're going to be able to take care of him. Evil Eye jumps up into the sky, uses that jetpack, fires down. He's going to be able to get not 1, but 2 kills. 1 on the raise, 1 on Cruncy. And good job from Kanga for being able to clutch that out at the very last second.
Great discipline from VP as well, not really spending from Kanga, not really spending anything. VP spending a few, but they did hold on to some key ones. Be Gone is one that was used. Is that look on the aggression from VP in the last mid. And with how impactful Ancient Rage was here, you know they had to hold on to it. It's just too good to not have here. Rampage speed boost stacking to allow Cruncy to plus forward straight into the enemy spawn. I can't believe Joel's re-peaked that, honestly.
Right.
I'm actually shocked that Joel's decided to recommit there, but look at these damage charts, man. Kanga dominating with their DPSs, and Joel's not too far behind.
Yeah, I mean, 5 seconds remaining. Before this, another round gets kicked off, man. I mean, it was 1-1. Now it's 2-2. both of these teams are at each other's throats. They both want the win. You can tell they want it too, based off of how hard this is bouncing back and forth between them. He has the Ancient Rage. He wants to be able to push up. He wants to dive to the back line, tries to go for the hook, but it's going to be a little bit too late. Good Dread Serpent also counters out the fact that he won't be able to Ancient Rage because of that. They got that pick. Now they can actually be able to push forward and try and fight. Pacheco is low behind that tree. A good shot from Chronix onto one, but not just one, two targets. A nice headshot to make sure that he can finish off a raise, but they drop the Dome Shield.
I don't know if that Dome Shield was worth it. Kanga still have the Dragon Punch and the Seismic Crash to pressure them when they come in. Dragon Punch going to be used against the Ancient Rage, but I think VP need to focus Evil Eye here. They just can't let that Ancient Rage land, and you can tell Pacheco already dragging his eyes that way. That Jetpack Lizard does not have the chance to do it, but Drogos is disengaging, keeping himself safe, and here comes the Dragon Punch.
75% to almost a point conversion. The Dragon Punch is coming out, but he's just using it to zone. 30% refunded directly onto the... Oh my goodness, what a nice shot from Chronix. Even better rockets. Now they're applying that pressure slowly but surely moving forward. Evil Eye, Chronix, both of them getting a kill each, but they are the ones that have captured the point. Rhino finding the kill on the Vex. Once again, this is a very intense match, man. I mean, 1-1, 2-2. But now Kanga have the lead.
Potentially 3-3, but Kanga getting very aggressive. Rhino right in their face. Good wall there, actually. Might let them catch them in, but no one else is there. Rhino turns around, notices this, and backs off, and that's kind of good mindfulness, right? At this level of pressure, some players would just be like, go, 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 and you don't want to turn around, but the fact that he's able to look behind him shows that they're still calm.
Right.
Not calm, though, is Cruncy with that Ancient Rage going in, but he misses the hook to get the follow-up.
That's going to be absolutely huge. He tried to move in to be aggressive and get that potential pick, but he's going to be taken care of thanks to Cruncy's very, very nice shot coming out from Makoa. They know Joseph's behind the tree. They're going to respond in kind by making sure that he's taken out of the picture. Now they swap targets to Rhino. He's done. 1:40, forcing both the remaining members of Kanga Esports to back off and reconsider their options.
Chronix half HP, but going to get pocketed out more than likely. Raze close with those shots, but no cigar for him, unfortunately. Tanks in both lanes for VP, a very solid zone. But 1.5 minutes remaining for Kanga to find an answer means they probably have a shot here. All that damage in their belt. Window, Strix and Drogo spamming right now. Ice Storm comes in, but Pacheco just dies immediately to Chronix. What a return from him.
The wall goes up, and now they're able to just focus fire directly on the Cruncy. Chronix not with 1, but 2 kills, but a raise is going to make sure that he does not let Chronix continue that streak any further than it needs to. Good shots from Doseps, though. He's focusing Garrett in the back line, was able to get that kill. Joes and Rhino are 2 still alive. They have such an aggressive zone. Luna's even right next to them, making sure that she can just pretty much play that turret role. The good stun on the Rhino as well. They're able to focus him down. They have so much control, but Chronix is opening things up with a kill on Doseps.
He's coming back from spawn now and definitely going to be very helpful here. Needs to take a deep angle to watch far into the enemy backline. Lock down some of these angles. Evil Eye tries to duel the raids, but goes down.
Yeah, 35 seconds remaining for Kanga Esports to try and convert this push. 3-2. It all comes down to this. Will Kanga be able to actually push this in? However, Vex is going to be taken down almost instantly. They know Chronix is in the back. They deal with him. Same thing for Gara. They also got rid of Rhino. Now this is looking really, really rough for Kanga to even try and push this one in. A nice double kill for Pacheco as well. Once again, this back and forth, beautiful air shot. Even better blink shot, and another good shot from Pacheco. 2 air shots and a ground shot. Direct hit is going to leave Evil Eye dead.
Unreal directs from Pacheco, and that's going to help them stabilize this into a 3-3. Super aggressive zone here from Virtus.Pro, but they do manage to hold strong. More or less 5 ultimates versus 5 ultimates here as we go into the last mid-fight. And honestly, VP got to find out something. I think the peel back from Kanga is very impactful. We're trading mid-fights back and forth, and this should be VPs, but honestly, I don't know what they're going to do to make the difference. That was that turn. Chronix against Pacheco. Even though he's a sniper, he does the same damage, if not more, at close range. Very easy to confirm those. Chronix making a huge difference for Kanga Esports.
15 seconds until this final round is starting. One of them will be the ones that can either tie it up 1-1 or make it a 2-0 already. And I mean, man, Chronix on the Strix, dude. I mean, I've seen such phenomenal play from him, and he's already top damaging 125,000 damage, man. I mean, he is definitely not falling short of his mark.
Yeah, for sure. That's what you want your Strix to do, especially when you pick it over a Makoa. See what first pick will reign supreme here. Doe getting healed, so he only takes 900 damage from that shot from Chronix. pressure so far, but this scout means nothing sneaky can happen. And here comes the flashbang, but Rhino doesn't even get the seismic crash
They
off.
tried to use the seismic crash. They used the dome shield as well just to keep that zone going. But look, Chronic's already got overpowered. The Dread Serpent as well. They're trying to push in. They're trying to make this work. But Pacheco's getting so many shots. He has the Ice Storm too. But Joel's is still going to be able to make this thing work. Joseph's with a double. Joel's is the next target here. 21% to 15 with a percentage gain in Virtus.Pro's favor.
What a great kite drop there from Arrays, barely escaping the pressure from Joel's and the Tinkerin. Right now, Cruncy still has the Ancient Rage, so he can get really aggressive. He knows there's a Dragon Punch to answer him, though, so he can't be too forward with this or else he'll be throwing his life away. He feels like he needs to be aggressive. There comes the Dragon Punch, and unfortunately for Cruncy, he dashed it right before it.
Oh, he also got the hook, so it actually lowered his movement speed just by a little bit. But Pacheco's really low, and he's not dead. He was literally one hit. Now he's on Rhino. He's blinking back and forth, but Evil Eye, he's not going to go down without a fight. Good Rockets direct hits. He knows the Raze over there. Boom! Fire Spit to be able to take care of that situation. Joseph's is going to go down as well. 36% for Kanga Esports, 281.
What a retake from Kanga. Now, Virtus.Pro have a mountain to climb to get through a Strix and a Drogos that are absolutely on fire right now. 17 is 9 is Evil Eye, and I think that's going to grow before this is over. They have Eevee for the touch with Pacheco, and the Ancient Rage is here, but it's used a little bit early.
Yeah, they have to use it a little bit early. I mean, he was taking a lot of damage. Joe's looking low, though. The hook actually comes through. They take care of him, but will Kanga be able to hold on? Not if you have a good shot from Cruncy, making sure he takes out Evil Eye. Rhino right there trying to go to point, but they are able to capture without much of a challenge, meaning VP are 2-0 against Kanga.
Luna capping right in front of your team. It's so tough in these chaotic fights to tell what's happening, right? Vex drops Luna on the point, then the rest of the team just pushes, and you're thinking, oh, they're stacking us. You know, they're not capping, they're focusing on fighting us right now. Vex telling Cruncy he did a great job because he did.
He did.
Drinking that blue raspberry, probably fuel over there, keeping themselves energized. It is pretty late in the day, relatively, for a Paladins game, so try to keep themselves awake as we are here as we go forward. But these games are exciting enough where I don't even need it, honestly. We are hyped going forward, and what a great comeback, I think, from them.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal, man. I mean, once again, it's so much energy around here, dude. I mean, I'm so excited to see how this game is going to continue going, but we can only see how that is the case right after this break.
Two games, 2 wins here for Virtus.Pro. Kanga not able to pull that momentum into a win just yet. They take us to Frog Isle. Virtus.Pro stands strong and another win under their belt. Now 2 wins away. If they can duplicate these first 2, copy and paste it into the next 2, they're moving on to your semifinals. Goremizer, Kanga need to get something going here. They had a few bright moments with Chronix. The Strix was hitting its mark, but just too much from VP.
It did exactly what they drafted it to do, and at the end of the day, that's all you can ask of them is carry us, do whatever you need to make sure that we can stay alive. And, well, he didn't disappoint. I don't think anybody else really did either. 135,000 damage from him, 120,000 there from Evil Eye. It just came down to the control. I think Virtus.Pro knew what to do around the objective. And I think Io played a huge role in that, keeping them alive. I mean, 2-9 for Vex, not anywhere near as gorgeous a slash line as Game 1. But because of what he was able to bring, the aggression of the tanks was able to come out a little bit more. You give Pacheco and Arrays 2 champions that they're incredibly comfortable on, and all the kind of pieces just lined up for them.
There's another one of those games. You look at the post-game stats, and you're thinking, oh, Kanga won that for sure, but not to be. Virtus.Pro win this one Pacheco has shown us now 2 different champions in 2 different games. Eevee, probably the top of its class when this guy's playing it.
And just shots like that. That's the one that matters, right?
Oh, my.
And right over.
Oh,
just,
God. That is nuts.
We were watching, we watched these
nuts.
back with production, and as Blake put it, the man has a family.
Yeah.
That's just, I mean, 2 of those shots. The first one, mid-air after a blink, right on target. The second one, a little easier to connect with. That third shot over the wall is prediction. It's everything you would want. And the only way I think you can make a shot like that is if you are, like Pacheco, playing Eevee nonstop all the time, have been doing it for years.
We're saying, all right, who deals with this Eevee apparently, or who deals with this Drogos?
Apparently
Eevee does.
You know, one of the natural counters to Drogos.
You know what's interesting? If you're quick thought right now, where do you think Kanga go map-wise?
What were the bans?
Well,
Warders banned?
well,
if Warders was not banned,
that's what I was
thinking. But otherwise,
I was thinking Warders Gate too. I think that's a smart ban from Virtus.Pro because Kanga absolutely, I think, pivot to Warders Gate at this point in this set.
This is a good choice, though.
Banned out. It's become a little less convincing, at least for game 1. Only 2 data points, but 4-2 for Virtus.Pro, 4-3 for Virtus.Pro, and no Warders Gate as Virtus.Pro have taken that one away. Frozen Guard now for Kanga. Do you like this pick?
I do. I think this is a good Kanga map. Just in general, I think it flows well with them. Although I will say they need to be worried because this is one of the maps where Virtus.Pro have also found a ton of success.
Yeah.
Specifically, I'm thinking Pacheco likes to play Eevee here. He has said that it was one of her weaker maps, but he still dominates with her here. He's also made Drogos work on this map. Drogos doesn't work on this map, just fundamentally does not work on this map. And Pacheco is the only player I've seen, I think, to date, who has brought it out and had it look as good as it did, playing some weird angles on that. So I'm really interested to see what Kanga might have up their sleeve to keep this in their favor. Mainly because Virtus.Pro, I think, have proven that they're more flexible on this map than Kanga are.
And I'm nervous. I mean, even if we take a step back from the map and just look at the entire set and how Kanga have played in sets throughout this split, so often you see Kanga go the distance and then kind of drop the ball towards the end. Now they're just looking to get off the starting line. They're looking to get a win in the map column right now. And against Virtus.Pro, who seem to be clicking, that's a scary spot to be between, you know, Erase, Pacheco, the entire Virtus.Pro roster. That's a lot to work through. I mean, you have to outplay these guys, which is not easy to do. Kanga, though, definitely still in their wheelhouse. Sometimes just starts with a win. We've seen a full-blown reverse sweep this year. Looking down at the bans for Frozen Guard. Io taken off the table one more time by Virtus.Pro. Atlas right up next to her. Cassie and Khan, interestingly enough. So this is another example with Strix still up for pick, but Makoa is also still available. Kanga opted for the Strix on Frog Isle, left Makoa Khan for Virtus.Pro. I bet that's where their conversation's at right now.
What do you want? Is Strix enough here? I'm gonna hit him with the no. I actually think Strix is not the option here. I don't think it's a good choice. Not that Strix is bad here,
but what you're giving up.
But you give up Makoa, and Virtus.Pro are just probably, like, more than likely going to go Victor later. They get Willow here at the beginning for Pacheco. You get a Victor that's going to more than toe-to-toe with Strix. Yeah, you're going to have some advantage on defense. I don't think it's worth what they trade up. Granted, if I had to choose, do I give them Willow Strix, Makoa Strix, or Willow Makoa?
Right.
I think Willow Makoa is probably the least of the 3 evils, but
yep, I agree. I think of those pieces.
You just go for a ban and try to whittle it down to 2 options.
Well, if nothing else, if Chronix is able to position himself well, the Fae Flights become infinitely less effective if you get plugged a couple of times by that Strix.
Yeah.
We have seen games where Strix just anti-air guns a Fae Flighting Willow out of the sky. But it does come down to positioning. It comes down to not being dove, being comfortable, having the space to identify those high-flying targets. Granted, Chronix doesn't need a lot of time to do that. Very quick on the scope.
No.
Maeve and Barrick locked in for the next 2 here from Kanga. So they're giving Evil Eye another shot at this Maeve, but Virtus.Pro pivot themselves into a Furia. A Fae Flight, Inflame, that's a scary combo.
It's a scary combo. Inflame Makoa is a scary combo.
Unwanted stranger.
And there's so much that you could have Arrays run into this. That's the thing. As I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, you know, if Cassie wasn't banned, she's good. Leon's good. Victor is my go-to here, though. I think Chronix was one of the first few players who I think was starting to pull it out here. We've seen a lot of players pull it out here, and Victor is easily going to slot not only into the map with their draft and do really well. The Genos might put a little bit of a caveat on some of this. Like, it's just like, everything you have is great, but you're going to get maybe 1 to 2 tapped by this Strix throughout the entire game. Plus the Mave, plus the Ruckus. Right. It's a really good draft from Kanga, but I'm not sold on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the individual pieces have the potential to make a difference. But then you look at what you've given up in order to put those pieces in place. I think the Willow, Makoa, Furia, and Nara is a very strong combo here. Where do you put Erase? That's the question you kind of raised at the beginning of this draft phase. Victor still on the table.
I actually
Leon,
wouldn't even
poking
mind
for him. Cassie as well. Or Cassie, excuse me, taken away, so no Cassie available.
Vivian wouldn't be awful.
Sure.
Now, it depends on how, like, that conversation
Erase
falls less on
right
what
now.
can Erase do and more how confident are they in Willow, right? Because you get rid of Ruckus, you get rid of Barrack with a Vivian pretty easily. Maeve is going to have a little more difficulty dealing with her because of her shield, but she does not go toe-to-toe with the Strix. That's where she kind of falls apart. So she has a place in this. I think she could play well. I don't think she's the go-to. I think Victor, Leon, Vivian is probably my tier list for it.
There is no middle
and they're going to opt for, again, the one that Arrays has been the most prominent on throughout the year.
This is a big matchup. If Kanga lose this one, they go down 3. They have to win 4 straight. If not, you bring yourself back to within 1. I'll hit you with one that I've already done once this year. You're the draft teacher. Grade Kanga's draft. Grade Virtus.Pro's draft.
I give Kanga an A. I give Virtus.Pro an A+.
That's average, right? Last time I asked you this question, you said A is right in the middle of that.
I can't even remember what it was. That was awful for me. But
I agree. I think Kanga...
I did not make a lot of A's in college, let's be honest.
They made like 1 A.
It got too real.
Kanga make an A here on their draft. Virtus.Pro, they make an A+. Can they make it 3 wins? Let's find out.
Let's find out indeed. Game 3 on its way. Virtus.Pro already up 2-0 against Kanga Esports. And once again, they only have to make sure that they win 2 more to be able to make sure that we see them at HRX, High-Res Expo next week.
I love the IO ban. I think banning IO on this map is really impactful. It's so good at capturing the point, because that point, you can see it right here. This is an older version without missing, I think, a wall or 2, but it doesn't change the fact that point is a death trap. It is not somewhere you want to be most of the time. So getting rid of that IO, forcing both of your teams onto the same playing field, I think is a really good way to equalize. I think the draft that VP ended up with on the back of it is pretty good too. Nora, Makoa, Kanga continuing their prioritization on the Strix. Didn't work last game. Can it work this one? A lot of pressure on Cruncy, I think, to prove the opposite, that Makoa would be worth it. He could. We'll have to see how much ground he can cover. It's a wider map. It's going to be a lot harder, I think, for Cruncy to do the same thing.
3% for Virtus.Pro as they were the first ones to make it to the point to be able to touch. Kanga, on the other hand, are sort of just giving themselves some time to consider. And Chronix definitely confused about the amount of damage that Leon was able to do, trying to back up, trying to make sure he doesn't get hit any longer. But Rhino is going to go down first because the rest of VP are just being too aggressive on these sides. But luckily, Fasheko's going to be able to be taken down.
Jules cleans up both DPSs, but VP have the cap time. Chronix is pushed out into the mines, now finally peeking, but Doe has DR. He has a bunch of ways to keep himself alive, and Hero is playing very carefully. Hook rings out on the side, doesn't find a kill though. No DPS is with Cruncy, excuse me, on this Makoa. Doe now has to back up, and the DPSs are back very soon, so some time he can buy himself, barely making it away. He saved his cooldowns this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, he is just sitting on plenty of abilities for him to be able to make sure he gets out of that situation, and he does indeed escape. Fasheko on this Willow, though, man, he's making his rounds literally around the map, making sure he's able to spread out as much damage as he can. The Inflame actually gets used, and now Virtus.Pro are going to be on the offensive. Joel's is really low, so is Evil Eye. So many of them are getting pincered into this hole right now, and it's going to be so difficult for them to try and make it out, but Fasheko might be getting a little bit too greedy.
2 for 2, 3 versus 3 now on the objective. Good time and space up for Kanga, but they actually pick Rhino, so 2 versus 3 on the point. It's a Genos and a Strix, though. I don't want to count them out, but look at all that health on the point. They're all sitting inside the shield. They know the threat that Chronix brings. They're playing safe around it, and VP capture the first point.
Indeed, they do. Faith Light's almost up, and so is Seismic Crash. Take a look at the slash line here. Joel's doing extremely well, but 0-2 for Evil Eye, 0-2 for Rhino, 1-0 for Gera and Chronix.
I cannot believe how high on the damage charts the Gera is.
Yeah.
Gera's above the Leon and the Maeve. Only Willow, Inara, Barrack, and Strix are above him. That's crazy to me, but I think that just has to do with how they played. Safe behind shields a lot of the time on the other side. They're the only one who can really see the Makoa when he was pushing up. Now VP. Car makes it around the safe corner. Now you're under threat. How aggressive is Cruncy willing to get? He has a dash, uses it early. No one close enough to hook, though. And that's one of the downsides of Makoa on this map. It's so hard to find a hook when you're trying to convert the payload.
A minute and 45 seconds remaining as Virtus.Pro are steadily pushing this payload in, but here it comes, the dreaded bridge. There's so many times the push has happened and failed right here. It's such a good hold for Kanga Esports for sure.
Cruncy's going to try to do a jump hook, I think, onto Rhino, but Rhino's playing so safe, I don't think it's possible for him to do that.
Oh, the wall.
That would have been absolutely sick if Cruncy
been
committed to it, but he didn't want to. Evil Eye just hooks a little bit too high, but it forces Evil Eye back. A bit of pressure they do. If Raze can live here, VP have another shot at this conversion. Evil Eye's going to keep harassing in the back, keep doing damage, baiting out these hooks, baiting out these cooldowns, and making VP's life a living hell.
A minute and 10 seconds remaining. The clock is steadily lowering, but the end flame is going to be coming up. Same thing as the Fake Fly. So many ultimates. The seismic crash as well. Fasheko's in such a good spot, firing down at so many different targets. Joel's is really low, and he's going to be confirmed on. Evil Eye's low as well. Doses with a double. Rhino with another double of his own, trying to hold on as long as he can, but no one else can contest or make sure that they stay alive with VP taking a 2-0.
The way that VP plays around Strix is so crazy. They just rush him. They just kill everybody else. They're like, well, you do damage, but you're not killing us fast enough.
Right.
We have only our tanks peeking you. So they're just making a difference that way. Dose aggression off of the point was a huge part, I think, in how long they survived. And then he got away using basically 0 cooldowns. Crazy by him to make that work as this fight went on. This, I think, was that 3v3 that became a 2v3 after this kill. Very good for VP on that mid-fight. Just Chronix, like I said, they're just ignoring Chronix. He has no deaths. He's doubling Raze's damage. But no one else on his team is really being successful. Everyone else on Kanga is just getting ignored by Virtus.Pro.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's definitely one thing to consider for sure. But I mean, we have the Cauterized 2, some Record 2s. The items are starting to come online a little bit. We're only 5 minutes into the game. So that's definitely going to be a factor. Not much is really happening except for Virtus.Pro managing to convert 2 points. But Dosem's actually eating a lot of damage. They might actually have to back up, and they will. Dosem's giving them a lot of respect as they're trying to put on a lot of pressure on the flank. They see that the Leon's all the way in the back line. They use the Enlightenment. Rhino's actually taking a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter because Evil Eye's there to help him out. They deal with him almost instantly. The Ancient Rage gets popped all the way in the front just to make sure that he can actually live. A good hook on the Chronix to make sure they can continue this damage, this reign of terror. But Fasheko's going to go down, and so is Chronix.
Super low mobility. Whoa, look at this peel onto Vex. I can't believe he's still alive. Joel's finally finds him. Perfect from Cruncy, but not what they needed, and he misses the hook on Evil Eye.
Yeah, he's trying to make sure that he can actually stop him from doing what he needs to, but it doesn't matter because Joel's is going to be able to get 2 last hits, a double kill for the Barrack, able to actually zone and now push out with the comeback mechanic. Kanga definitely have this point in the back.
Very difficult for Doe there. The decision making was so hard to find out what to do. He gets off the point to try to peel for a raise in the back. He can't make it in time. He's in Nara. He's not making it all the way over there. It's just not ever going to happen realistically. So he ends up giving up a lot of cap time, making the retake impossible. Virtus.Pro. Kanga with a point on the board. Here, they thought they were safe, but look at this aggression from VP. They want to contest the card this early, but the Hexafire might stop them.
The Hexafire actually gets used to find its kill, but it does make sure that it actually spreads out as much damage as possible. Evil Eye takes care of a raise. Carsey with a double. Rhino, Joels make sure they get more kills each for their team, and they're still going to be able to be on the card. Cruncy's coming all the way back around, though. He's still really low, or at least half health, a little bit less than half, but he's still alive. Dosif is going to be able to take that kill on the Joels, but Rhino is going to trade on his life.
That's a little bit of a miscom from VP, I think. 2 tanks moving in together. The 2 tanks on Kanga focus the same target. VP's tanks focus different targets, and Kanga gets the better end of it. Only the respawn from VP was able to save the hook. Going a little bit wide, holding this corner. Rhino trying to lock down what he can. You can see Maeve actually playing on the side there, trying to get some long-range daggers, but almost walking back into the seedlings, and Fisher goes applying so much pressure to this main choke.
A minute and 15 seconds, and as the clock winds down, we're starting to see more and more of a push happen on the side of Kanga Esports, but the fight is still not over yet, my friends. He throws out the hook, Cruncy does, but doesn't find its mark. Now we have the Anar going around, trying to apply that pressure, but Rhino was already low. They take advantage on that. Cruncy with a double, not one, but two, but three. Good shots coming out from the Turtle, and he's going to be able to make sure that his team can live and fight and zone.
I don't think a single one of those were kills when he actually clicked. I think they became kills in midair as the cannonball was traveling. Definitely a good look for Cruncy, though. Getting a lot of credits added up, helping his itemization out for sure as we get further and further into the game. The net worth, though, is still struggling compared to Vex and Doe, but that's to be expected, I think, from the point tank and the support. Always doing pretty well in credits because they're always doing the job that gives you bonus credits. As you guys know, you get bonus credits for completing what the game wants you to do. Frontlines, contesting, supports, healing, and DPS is doing damage. Evil Eye, though, finds Risheko. Bonus credits for that for sure, and Kanga kind of clumped up in this right house.
Ooh, yeah, nice job for being able to lift him up. The Void Grip comes out, and they actually make sure that Cruncy goes down. So does Doe. Vex tries to go on the point to contest for just a little bit longer, but a nice shot from Chronix, a double from him. Once again, on the Strix. The overtime is a factor. It's going to mean a lot for Kanga to see if they can even this one up.
Erase, I don't think, could have taken a worse possible route to go back to his spawn in front of the entirety of Kanga, considering they have a Strix on their side, but VP still managed to stabilize a little bit. Doe contesting the card. DR going to run out soon. Kanga want to find an option here. Just backs up very low. Failsafe goes off, but it doesn't save him in time.
Overtime is going to be a factor. It was almost done, but everyone's taking their turn to actually step onto the payload. Chronix finds a kill, but still, at what cost? Well, the cost of the round. Virtus.Pro are going to be able to defend, making sure they go up 3-1, but all 10 ultimates are up and online.
It's going to be tough to figure out what you want to use early. Do you want to gamble on an Ancient Rage? What if Cruncy gets aggressive on the wrong side? If that Shell Spin doesn't land him somewhere where he's going to find damage, it's not going to work out. I really hope this is, no, I think this is that original zone. Good look on the Chronix, but he's invisible too. Great timing there. Cruncy, good aggression here. That one, just one card, I'm not sure what level he has in this build, but this card, Ebb and Flow, gives you a reset in your Shell Spin when you hit a certain threshold of life. So impactful. Okay. Yep, that went about as I expected from rewatching it, ending up on 666 health as well. And he's running Ebb and Flow at 4, not something you normally see. Rampage, Surf usually get a few more points. Ebb and Flow at 4 does a great job at increasing his mobility, playing into that Surf card as well. Lots of mobility on this Makoa, one of the reasons he gets picked on top of the hook. Combine that with one of the best shields in the game, and you can see why this character is an absolute monster in the draft phase.
The Enlightenment actually rips through. He's going to be able to kill Rhino, not with the Enlightenment, but it was enough damage to make sure he can get that last hit. The Ancient Rage gets popped on an already low Gera. Erase gets a double, but still, once again, VP are able to push this and get an aggressive zone.
I wish I could be excited about watching that Makoa play, but I really couldn't. That was kind of a comedy of errors, a few of the ways he was chaining his cooldowns. Still, he did what he needed to, and now Erase very forward, getting some dismounts and zones. It's a long map, and there's not a lot of ways to sneak by. Maybe use the Hexafire to try to catch in Cruncy, but he just runs away. Ebb and Flow reset. Gonna get him away again if they try to chase him. Here they are. Another Shell Spin turning right around. He might get the Juke Boots and take him down.
Shell spins right around the corner to make sure he dodges the Hexafire, but the kills are still coming up on the side of Virtus.Pro, and you have another point for Virtus.Pro to be able to be gained. 3-0 against Kanga Esports. They have to find an answer. If they do not, Virtus.Pro will 4-0 and find themselves a DreamHack.
What a great response. Well, I keep saying response, even though they're responding to their own victory. Right. VP really continuing this chain of dominance throughout this set. This is absolutely the VP that I think people have been wanting to see for a little while. We saw them at the start, took a break, came back a little rough, traded some sets maybe that they weren't expecting to. But this is a good look at the VP that we're used to seeing. This aggression from them, super well coordinated. They're getting these aggressive zones. They're peeling for each other so well. That one moment where Cruncy saved Vex. He didn't end up saving him in the end, but just buying that little bit of time, that doesn't happen on most teams. Only on a team at VP's caliber, you're going to see plays like that.
Right, exactly. And I mean, once again, an explosive split as well. They fell off a little bit towards that break that they had where they didn't play for a few weeks, but they're looking great now, and this would be the time to do it. Can Kanga at least manage to take a point in this next game? Find out after this break.
I feel like I'm falling, the birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Why you be all in my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Don't hang with it who line for nothing. I see that we different, you riding, I double. I don't do discussions on bragging about hundreds. Don't go to your places, I know that they sunken. Don't call me your brother, I barely could trust it. I talk to a shorty, she bagging the bucket. And I'ma need all of my dollars on corporate, so hand me the money, I divvy the pie. I'ma give all of my people a portion to build them a fortune. I'm flipping the ride. I can't be mixy when iffy the vibe. And 40 on 50 is really the time. Why is you all on my phone like you want me? Like you wasn't pushing the kid to the side. I don't know if you thinking I'm blind. Cross on my crosses and dot on my eyes. Done with your efforts, I'm dealing with pressures. I know it's a lesson, that's word of the wise. Dubbing the mixes I'm mixing, I know I've been missing. I needed some personal time. All the pictures, dimensions, I don't with your digits. I mean it, I'm staying inside. Cause they got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it.
Well, 3 games and 3 wins now for Virtus.Pro. Kanga are going to have to do something that one team has done before this year. The full-blown reverse sweep. They are down 3-0. Backs against the wall. Truly as against the wall as they could be. Gormizer, this is another example, I think, of where you draft yourself something nice, but I still think you're giving up too much. You give a Willow Makoa over to Virtus.Pro, and you saw what Cruncy can do with a Makoa in his hands.
And honestly, that's all you need sometimes, right? You give Chronix the Strix for the same reason Cruncy is able to showcase, I think, the talents Virtus.Pro have here. Sometimes it's your carry that you're going to need. 39,000 damage for him. Not the highest on the team.
Still
you never
close.
expected to be, because his kills are really what matters when it comes down to it. He was 10-4. The same thing for Dosups. The tanks were the carries this game. And that's all you need. When if you're going to go up, you've played 3 games since the split ended, and, well, here you are, 3 wins in a row. They're playing tic-tac-toe. You're on a golden row.
If you're playing tic-tac-toe, you've already won with 3 straight.
They need one more.
I guess.
But, I mean, statistically,
you're right.
You know, I'm not saying they've already won, but statistically,
we're playing Connect 4, and they've had the first 3 moves in this set.
Yeah.
Cruncy drops another, I guess, red-colored circle into the Connect 4. I'm really driving this one home, aren't I? Virtus.Pro, they stay on top. A lot of it in the hands of this guy. I mean, 39,000 damage in comparison to the 80-something thousand that Chronix did. That's an unfair comparison. That's a Strix in Makoa. But it was very efficient damage.
Yes.
You get 40,000, triple kills, big plays, hooking a stealth target. The potential that damage brought was enough to give Virtus.Pro the win.
And it made it so much easier for them to find certain defenses. I mean, that was one of the biggest things. Kanga, they capture the point, and it looks pretty good. And they even have a pretty close call towards the end of that push. Yep. But a majority of the time was won because Cruncy just decided to walk up and say, no, you can't do this. Like, you're just not allowed. And now you're in that awkward position if you're Kanga. You have to figure it out, and you need to figure it out fast. Serpent Beach, I'll be honest, Dave, is not the call to me.
No? In your mind, what map maybe jumps out?
Oh, God, they need to
it's
take
hard.
it
I don't know.
weird.
I don't know if any map
Frozen
jumps
Guard,
out.
I was going to say, Frozen Guard was probably the most likely to go your way if
Warder's
you're
Gate.
with Warder's Gate being banned away. So,
or Fish Market, also banned away.
yeah, the maps that are intrinsically Kanga, this is one that falls into the same style. They can go IO here if they want to, if it's not banned away. So, still some options for them, but
yeah,
it's getting dangerous.
It is getting dangerous.
They're in murky waters.
Very. With no real end in sight here. I think if you're Kanga right now, you're staring down a 3-0, potential 4-0. You have to take this one game at a time. You cannot be sitting in that booth right now saying, we need to win 4 straight. You need to be saying to yourselves, we just need to win this one. Say the same thing into the next game. Because if you look at it on a one-game basis, Kanga and Virtus.Pro, that's a coin flip. That's a coin flip every single time. You have no idea. But winning 4 straight becomes a little less likely, potentially. Bans swapped up here, with Makoa and Atlas both gone. Kanga still with the potential for a Strix first pick here.
Ghost Feather reporting.
And again, I don't mind that first pick. You saw the amount of damage Chronix was able to do. Vex is obviously feeling good about Virtus.Pro's chances here. but they take away the Makoa and the Atlas this time, and the Willow. So instead of giving up a Makoa Willow for a Strix, you're giving up a Barrett Con. I don't know if that's
maybe
much better,
not
but
the worst trade that you've ever made in your life at the end of the day. I don't know how I can get behind Kanga's concept of give Chronic Strix every game, let him carry us. It hasn't worked 2 games in a row here. And I don't know if it's going to start here. Serpent Beach, he's a great player. This is a good map for some hit scan. But I don't know if Strix is going to be the call. Granted, I think he could absolutely blow up. It depends on the DPS from VP. But, I mean, they go in Nara Fury. You grab an Eevee for Fish Echo, and you just put pressure. Or a Mave, honestly. I don't really care. Do either or both if you really want. And just make sure Strix can't see the light of day.
I mean, even under so much duress on Frozen Guard, Chronix was able to find some value. So hard to kind of choke out that champion's impact. You figured Eevee might be a good pick here. I agree with you, and they're hovering her. That's going to put Evil Eye in a position where you kind of have to decide. I mean, Maeve's still on the table. It hasn't not hit its mark, but it hasn't, you know, blown us out of the water yet for Kanga. Buck as well is on the table. That's something that, you know, Kanga have tried out once or twice. Virtus.Pro have the same. Genos Eevee, though, that's what's locked in.
In terms of performance today, Evil Eye and Simsaloo swapped places, right?
Yeah.
Evil Eye had a really good qualifying week.
Yeah.
Simsaloo did not do well, could not play as well on the Eevee or on the Mave. Today he showed up and did exactly what they need. Evil Eye right now, I'm not saying he's inting, he's not going in and just doing nothing for the team, but he's in this really awkward area where it doesn't quite work the way he wants. And I would love if they lock this in. I think it's a really good pick for them. Granted, it's still kind of shaky since Arrays can go Leon, Cassie, Kanessa if they really want to. They have a lot of options for VP to make this Buck a little scared.
I figured that might be something that's on their mind, and they do lock him in. Strix, Inara, Furia, Buck, Ashe for Kanga. Needing to win 4 straight, have to start with 1 here on Serpent Beach. What a Virtus.Pro answer back with, though? I mean, the Eevee locked in for Fish Echo is so much offensive presence. Now you're looking for Erase. You could put him on that Leon. Could put him back on the Cassie.
The next time you see
if it isn't broken,
banners,
don't fix it. Erase Leon, dynamic combo there. Virtus.Pro feeling good about their chances.
Cassie Leon, no matter who he chooses here, is going to be great. Cassie, big game, good against Ashe and Nara Buck. But Leon, she's the anti-flank. And that's not just because she's good against Maeve and Eevee. That being said, she's great against Maeve and Eevee. So that always works out for her. But Buck suffers the same problem. He has a little more health, a little more healing, but at the end of the day, he's a flank who's going to be coming up from the side. You've got a range advantage. He can maybe hit some headshots to equalize it, but it's very shaky.
Yeah, if something's going to turn around, has to start here for Kanga. Game 4, everything hangs in the balance. Casters, take us away.
Thank you guys so much from the desk, and I'm genuinely curious about your opinion about this, Kresnik.
Okay.
I mean, Strix has been given to Chronic so many times, game after game, and despite him top damaging, despite him doing his thing, it's still falling flat. What does Kanga have to change?
I honestly don't know. I mean, it's obvious. I don't think it's Chronix's fault. Chronix has amazing stat lines.
I didn't mean to make it sound like that either.
No, I know, but I'm saying I don't know if they have to change. They have to change up a lot of things. They just have to start not losing these fights, expecting this aggression from Virtus.Pro. I think finally having a draft that ended up power tankless on the other side is probably a good start. Having a Buck is another good start because that means it's more resources you can pour into your Strix to keep them alive and doing even more damage. Sheko and Eevee is going to be a thorn in their side, along with Arrays and Leon, going to make it very tough for Evil Eye to be able to be too aggressive. Barrack and Khan too, pretty good tank lineup, and only Strix record. It's a lot of damage, but it is inconsistent. If they time their shields, I feel like they can buy a lot of extra time that they wouldn't have been granted against like a Cassie or a Victor.
Well, already 2,400 damage spreading out in between both of their front liners, and along with another 1,200 shot to Dosups, and everyone's just holding their ground. Kanga at 33%, but once again, no definitive kills. A good shot directly on a Doe with a battle shout to make himself, at least make himself not only immune, but make sure he's healed up for enough health. Evil Eye's going to actually win that duel against Pacheco on the side. And now Kanga Esports have that advantage. They can now push them back. You already see Rhino making the first moves.
Look at the smart disengage from VP, though. They know exactly how they have to play around this. No, played up top. They wanted to focus on the upper pressure to fight back the Strix. This might not be a map where you can ignore him. So many angles for a Strix on Serpent Beach. I don't think you can play the same way that you were. Doe, close to the point, low on ultimates. Fish trying to make something happen, but this buck might slow him down.
Oh, already in the back line. Pacheco is able to land beautifully timed shots onto their team, and he's actually able to take down Joel's as well, living with 96 HP, but eventually going down to Guerra. I mean, they did so. I mean, even Pacheco able to pull out stops like that is now netting VP percentage on the point at 30.
Yeah, but now if Kanga retakes, VP have no chance to have another fight. 99%.
Right.
As soon as the fight goes Kanga's way, Kanga could even sneak it away from them. As soon as it goes their way, they'll be able to cap it. This Strix is making it impossible to cap. Jules comes back and just immediately deletes Dosums.
The Inflame gets used. The overtime is ticking down. Vex looks really low in the back. Evil's going to make sure he leaves him dead. The Enlightenment all the way in the one-on-one with Chronix and Arrays, and he's going to get that refund back. But Crunchy's one of the only ones left. He drops the Ice Storm directly on Agera. Crunchy is still alive, and now Pacheco's going to find himself on point, trying to stall, trying to get that overtime. Dosums back, tries to put out the shield to help him, but it is still not enough to spike that.
Does his failsafe, but he stays off the point in the last moment. The Warder's Field slowing him too much to be able to retouch. Vex finds a kill on a Rhino trying to get aggressive, but Kanga has that point, and they are storming the gates, trying to potentially get this high ground, but they want to back it off for now. Pulling back. Top damage is Arrays. Out-damaging Chronix this time, but as we've seen, top damage doesn't guarantee a set win.
Yeah, 3 time in space, goes wide, doesn't find his mark. Still got about 2 minutes that's remaining on the clock as, you know, Kanga are just able to capture the point just now and try and make their way forward. They're going to be able to get rid of Pacheco, and as soon as they get that kill, they use the assert dominance all the way up onto the high ground, and now they have so much control. They're putting on this pressure, making sure that Virtus.Pro definitely feel it. They're trying to fight back. The flashbang goes out, but he actually puts up the shield despite that.
Evileye got saved by Gruncy. Evileye got grabbed in the middle, right before he jumped. After getting thrown, he recovered and jumped and actually got onto the high ground because of the extra height that Gruncy gave him. Evileye is on a tear, 8-0 on the lines of Virtus.Pro. They can't stop him. Having almost no resources in him too, and when he does get the heals, they're super potent because of that rapid sustain that he's most likely running in his build. So much strength up here, taking down Dosums too. He can't be stopped.
I mean, once again, 1 minute and 10 seconds as Kanga are rounding this corner to a potential conversion for this payload, and it will be 2-0 against Virtus.Pro. And what a way to clap back against them. 3-0, and now Kanga seem to be having their dominant performance now.
If you want to start a reverse sweep, that's definitely the way to do it with a performance like that on Buck. Evileye, great showing. This is Kanga definitely, I think, a Buck team. A team that wants to put their resources into their backline DPS instead of their blaster. Not because of Evileye as a player, but because of the play style. They clearly like to rely on Chronix, so Buck, fantastic pick for them. Great Buck Wild, too. It was a good ice block, good attempt by Pacheco, but all this damage coming from Evileye, I don't think it was possible for this fight to go anyway. Evileye still undying, 9-0. Potentially. I want to see a Buck annihilation. That's my bias of the day. That's all I care about. I just want to see a Buck go on an annihilation, and then I'm good. I'm good for the day. You can finish this stuff.
Okay, that's fine, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry. Well, I mean, we have plenty of time still to be left in the day. At least I assume, if Kanga are going to keep playing like this for sure. 2-0 already. Once again, they're able to actually try and fight one-on-one. Actually, Evil's going to try to back off. The Ice Storm goes down, a good direct shot, as well as an Ice Storm to be able to take care of Evileye. You've got 12% on the point for Kanga to VP 7. They barely had a chance to really step on it. The overpower actually goes through as well. Rhino actually kills Arrays despite the Enlightenment. They turn to Joel, stagger him out a lot, and now with the 3 time in space to try and follow up, it's not going to find its mark, but Dosums will.
They should feel lucky that they had the damage to kill Joel's in that last moment. I thought Joel's was going to get away from that overpower, but everyone rotated over just in time. Aggression from Pacheco pushing back. Chronix on the Strix, getting some dismounts. Is Crunchy in the top area as well. Joel's now has to waddle to point on the option. The Strix pressure, keeping them off. Another Ice Storm by Pacheco catches Guerra and gets him an opening pick.
My goodness, man. The amount of Ice Storms he has dropped directly into the back line or in these priority targets has been absolutely insane. Virtus.Pro with the comeback mechanic. Joel's decides to wall himself off. Doesn't want to actually continue that engage. The assert dominance, though, and they still end up losing the point despite that. Pacheco and Dosums find one apiece as now they've set their sights onto Rhino. He's trying to live as long as he possibly can, and Crunchy's going to go down thanks to Evileye.
The verticality on this map making it so tough for Khan to stay alive. Evileye fighting out at a long distance, and I've lost my interest. Buck isn't going on Annihilation anymore. No, but Erase right now holding it back there. Kanga wants to find a way to zone them out. Joel's holding orange. You don't really necessarily need to be in orange to defend it. You can stay around where Joel's is right now, and I think that's definitely the safer place to be. Definitely allows you to cover multiple angles, and you can contest the card a little more easily from back there. Evil Eye having on a good end of this fight versus Fisheko, but Fisheko backing up and refighting. Race has to play very slow. Fisheko misses the directs and has to back up, but VP still moving the cart.
Yep, with a minute 40 still. I mean, they have plenty of time even if they do lose this push right now. Nice ice block from Fisheko. Evil Eye's actually using that meditate, trying to keep himself alive, also giving himself a little bit more DR to try and live through that situation. Fisheko's trying to move as best as he can to make sure he doesn't actually die to Evil Eye right there. He's already ready to go back in, and the payload's still moving. They've got 3 ultimates online as well. The net shot, but a good blink up. Fisheko's going to make sure he leaves Evil Eye in the dirt, and now he set his sights on Rhino, uses the ice block to also body block Rhino from actually getting out, and he finds himself with 2 kills. Erase finds another, and they are responding in kind to Kanga's eventual, a devastating start with their own amazing push.
Great attempt by Gera there to try to get the automatic homing attacks from Wings of Wrath to follow him up, but he can't. I thought Evil Eye was doing a great job of slowing Fisheko down, but Fish just started connecting every single shot, including that one, to take Evil Eye down. Rhino's buying as much time as he can on point, but I think this caps an inevitability. Yeah,
Fisheko once again with another kill to be able to try and round things out. They got rid of Chronix, they got rid of Rhino, and now they're staring down Joel's. They're staring down Gera. Fisheko in the back line trying to put on that pressure. He's going to be able to make sure that he actually takes him down with Fisheko still in the ice block. Blinks out, and he is saved by his teammate. Krunzy comes around, make sure he gets that kill on Evil Eye with Chronix still there firing sniper shots, but Joel's is taking a lot of pressure on the point, which allows VP to make it a 2-2.
Joel's bought as much time as he can, but now we're heading into a 2-2 mid-fight with all 10 ultimates available again. I didn't think that was a terrible play from Kanga. Joel's bought a lot of time, but I think the team play from VP is just too much to deal with. They're putting so many resources into Fisheko. Erase is playing so safe on the back that they really can't take Fish down. He's constantly getting marked, getting shouted by Cruncy. Evil Eye went from a 9-0 start to a 1-5 round because I'm just playing a lot more careful. So tough to play Buck into a Genos. The Void Grip takes you, if it takes you mid-dash, you literally have no option. You can't get away. You don't have a second dash. It's not like Maeve or Eevee where you can blink if you get grabbed during a soul, or you can use 9 lives and pounce again. There's no option. You have your one movement, and that's it. Evil Eye usually playing pretty smart around it, but 10 ults on the board. Next, looking for those dismounts. Does not want to go for that initial through time and space. VP is such a team play-oriented team. I wouldn't be shocked to see an Ice Storm come in to set up for that through time and space. 6%
for Kanga Esports to a 6% from Virtus.Pro, but they've already steadily grown. The Ice Storm, once again, the Dome Shield directly on point. Through time and space is going to get used, but Gera's going to be able to disengage and make sure he doesn't get hit. Rhino goes up in the air, comes right back down with these Sardonis, but he charges off. He's trying to make sure that he can actually get Vex. He's being healed, and he's going to be able to live thanks to Chronix with the last hit, but Cruncy with a double is going to make sure that they still leave themselves even at a 2-for-2 trade.
Seismic Crash comes in, but it stuns Erase. He's the only one who goes down, though. The rest of the kills still going to VP. Now, Joel's has to disengage. Him being alive is a big deal. He'll be able to be close enough to get a retouch, but Fish is in the way, it looks like. Fish is trying to harass Joel's, force some cooldowns, make his life hell trying to make it to this point. Erase coming back from spawn, too. What are the options here? Now, Doe, trade with the Strix in the back. The damage won't be worth it, but at least the pressure will keep their healer out of focus.
Yeah, Fisheko already engaged with Evil Eye on the side, does not want to give up any ground whatsoever. The jump all the way into the back line. Evil Eye's going to be taken care of. So is Joe's directly on point. Fisheko gets hit by the Pyre Strike, but it doesn't matter when your teammates are taking care of Kanga Esports in kind with a third point capture. 3-2. Virtus.Pro could convert this and give themselves an invitation to HRX at DreamHack Atlanta.
This would be the most dominant performance of the day, too, which means this VP team will be one to fear. Like 2 more deaths, I believe, since then. Now, though, Fisheko control this low ground area. Staying in fire, I think it's going to be, this is a great area for Eevee to control because you can blink through so many different little cracks over there that they never know where you're going to be wormholing back to. Chronix aggressive up top, so is Evil Eye. Fish gets forced out. I don't know if I like the wormhole back, but I guess it doesn't matter. Rhino goes down, trying to cross the bridge.
They're trying to be able to clear, they're trying to be able to make as much time as possible for themselves. The wall goes up, he was trying to save him. Joe still actually goes, yeah.
It saved Cruncy. Yeah. It would have been a follow-up shot from Chronix, but the wall actually protected Cruncy from the follow-up on the way out.
Unfortunate. absolutely unfortunate for Kanga Esports for that to be the way how they could potentially go down. I mean, that was huge. You get that overpower, you send Chronix off of the side, and you see already that Virtus.Pro are rounding this corner. Kanga Esports are trying to fight back, but another Ice Storm from Pacheco is going to leave Gara dead. Arrays and the rest of VP are not going down without a fight. Through time and space is going to hit from Vex 30, and you already see that Virtus.Pro are trying to make their rounds, and a nice snipe coming out from Arrays with the Enlightenment. They're looking at Joel's now. The seismic crash is coming through, but the Dome Shield gets dropped on point. Gara is there with the Inflame to try and make himself alive, but it doesn't matter because Virtus.Pro with a 4-0 have secured their ticket to DreamHack Atlanta.
This is the VP that I'm sure they wanted to be heading into this final game here. What a performance by VP against Kanga. We thought this might be the closest game of the day. That's what I was thinking coming in. Kanga, they've traded back and forth a lot. You never know what team you're going to get on each side, but this VP has clearly woken up since their breaker before. A little bit of shakiness coming back into the season, but this is the VP that they hoped they would be coming into Worlds.
I mean, this means that it is a VVP versus NIP matchup coming in HRX. And if we're seeing the performance it was that VP had today, as well as NIP's performance, despite it being close against the Renegades, that means that that matchup is going to be absolutely sick, and I cannot wait to see it.
We have 4 fantastic teams at Worlds for sure. NIP VP, I mean, that's a match that that was my first PPL cast, actually, those two teams playing against each other, and if that match is as close as that one was, we are in for a treat on the HRX stage for sure.
Yeah, I'm super excited to make sure that to see all these teams and to come out and just have an enjoyable time. Of course, we'll all be there. It's going to be super, super awesome, especially with the matchups it is that we have after today.
Yeah, and I thought VP looked like they were on another level there by the end. I was kind of sad we didn't see any combos after I called it, but they didn't need them. Honestly, the ults were perfect the way they were. That was a game-changing Ice Storm up top by Pacheco.
Yeah, how many did he have that game?
There was 3 people, I think, trapped up top in that last one. How many did he have? I lost count. Also, I was never counting, which is probably part of why I lost count, for sure. But he was constantly all over the map, impacting almost every single fight. Eevee, so good on Serpent Beach. So much of that mobility that you need to be able to flex around, bounce back and forth. Pacheco, I think, did a fantastic job on Serp.
I agree with that, and a fantastic job to VP. Congratulations to them for making sure that they could actually secure their spot at HRX at DreamHack Atlanta. We're going to throw it back to the desk and see what they have to think about this.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we had 4 quarterfinal sets today, and now we have 4 teams remaining in the Paladins World Championships. The semifinal games taking place 1 week from today, and all 4 of those teams are locked in. Gormizer, our last set has just come to a close. We were kind of joking. The 2 sets we expected to be the closest ended up being the fastest, and then the Renegades and the Knights not only kept things close, but the Knights with a big upset.
Yeah, I mean, being able to come through. Knights, I think, having the best story that they could have had, right, coming in. You beat out a prior world champion in Na'Vi, and you find yourself a spot going forward. This one was impressive for completely different reasons. Not only has Virtus.Pro been on a tear this last half of the year, but admittedly, even though they've had that, they've only beat Kanga once before. That's the thing that really comes to my mind, is just every other time they have a, I think it's a 4-2 win over Kanga prior to this. Otherwise, 4-1 Kanga, 4-3 Kanga, 4-1 Kanga. Kanga have had their number dialed in all year.
And they thought they would today.
And this is the moment that it mattered the most, and Virtus.Pro knew what to do.
They felt confident coming into this matchup. I mean, it seemed like they took things a little bit lighter against SSG in that qualifying final game.
They wanted this.
They wanted this matchup. They did not want it today. Time and time again, you know, Pacheco, so easy to highlight this guy, what he brings to the table, not only on Eevee, the Bomb King, the Mave, whatever it may be. Look back at the Kanga drafts, though, Gore. They gave up, or they got Strix every single game.
Yeah.
They weren't able to put it into a victory.
No, I think that's the biggest thing. Even that last game, Strix wasn't doing anywhere near as much as I think they wanted it to. Evil Eye, I have to give him a lot of credit. There were so many moments in that game where he was the only one causing trouble for Virtus.Pro. He was part of the reason that they had a couple of the snags they did, but at the end of the day, Virtus.Pro, they just put that one away. I mean, about as easy as you can.
A lot of questions. You know, if they slowed down, how is the play going to be after a little bit of time off? They answered a lot of questions here today. And now they're our winners, so they're going to answer a few more to close things out.
Welcome in, guys, to the interview, and once again, congratulations on you guys being the last team to secure the spot for HRX. And I guess I have to say, how does it feel?
It feels amazing. We all of this year is just prep for HRX. You know, first half of the season, second half, the roster changes. It was all for HRX, and getting to the semis, getting there, feels amazing.
I think today this was kind of like a look back at the VP we saw at the start of Phase 2. I wrote old VP in my notes, but that's not true. When in practice, did things feel like they were kind of clicking again back to the machine you guys were at the start?
Yeah, it's always kind of like an ebb and flow.
Yeah.
When we first came back, we were hot, and then when we took that month break, you know, we kind of lost it a little bit. You know, you practice, you grind through the stress, and this is I've been on a lot of teams, and this is our best chance for an HRX win that we've ever had.
I know you guys had a little mini boot camp in Atlanta. Did that help you guys out at all, you think, heading into this?
Yeah, I think just thinking about Paladins, that's it. That's all we did during that boot camp. That's all we had in our mind was Paladins. That's all we played was Paladins, and we really like organized it and scheduled it and worked through it together, and felt really good, the boot camp.
How do you prepare? Because I know you guys just took your win over Kanga 4-0. How do you prepare for a team like Kanga that's kind of willing to just pull out anything?
Yeah,
well,
Kanga's kind of a scary one.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have a great matchup record against Kanga, so, you know, I don't think they were disappointed to play us. And Spuds, he does a lot of work in the background, so, you know, he went through every draft, and he came in really prepared. Fish and Crunchy, you know, two great minds for Paladins, so we had that covered in strats.
And speaking of, like, the drafts against Kanga, I feel like you guys played a lot of power tanks like throughout the set, or at least specifically you got Makoa, I feel like, almost over and over. Were you guys expecting the Strix to be prioritized over the Makoa in almost all the maps?
We kind of expected it, but we weren't sure what they were going to do. We kind of we were testing them. We were trying to test them early because we didn't know what they were going to prioritize. That's why we went in pretty safe on the first draft, and after that we kind of knew what they were going to do, and Spuds had it in his head what he was going to do the whole time.
Bit of a coin flip, really.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
See what they do and adjust.
Yeah.
Are you guys happy for your matchup against NIP in the semis?
I mean, what qualifiers and what today showed is any team can win. So happy, any team. It's kind of the same. NIP, if we would have played Knights qualifying, that was crazy.
Renegades looked great too.
Renegades looked amazing. Yeah.
What are your expectations, I think, for your team playing on the stage? Are you guys expecting similar performance? Do you think it will be affected by that?
We play better on stage than in scrims.
Yeah,
we always say we always play better on stage.
Well, that is just plain terrifying then.
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys, on your 4-0. I think the most dominant victory today.
Thank you.
Over Kanga for sure. I can't wait to see you at the HRX stage. But for now, that's it for quarterfinals, guys. We're going to throw it back to the desk to wrap up the day.
Thank you very much, guys, for sitting down with us. 4 teams now locked in for your semifinals. Knights, Envy, that's semifinal number 1. NIP, Virtus.Pro, that's semifinal number 2. So much to look forward to, Gore.
It's like a kid on Christmas. That's going to be an awesome day. Those are going to be
two
two
on
great
stage.
days,
Virtus.Pro say they play better on stage.
That's
and
a
they
scary thought.
Mop the
Let's
floor
be
with
honest.
Kanga. Unreal.
The only team out of that list that I think might have some issues adapting to the on-stage feel is actually Knights, and I just feel like that might drive some nerves up. Envy's probably the one team you wouldn't want to be up against because they are, well, kind of used to it. They were in quarterfinal, a semifinal, and the finals last year.
Yeah, they won the thing.
All on stage. Definitely dangerous to be in, but as the Knights showcased today, it doesn't always matter what your past is. You can still take a win.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Quarterfinals far left of that bracket. That's what you saw here today. Semifinals 1 week from today, live from High Res Expo at DreamHack Atlanta. Knights versus Envy. Great matchup there. NIP versus Virtus.Pro. Fantastic matchup there. It's almost hard to ask you which one you're looking forward to more because I think both of those are fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know if I can actually choose an individual. I think Knights Envy, but it's assuming we get the same Knights that showed up today, right? Like, as long as we get that team back there, I'm absolutely fine. It's going to make the 16th this month so fun. Like, that is just going to be an amazing day. And also, when it comes down to, you know, today we were kind of prepared. We were like, how many hours is it going to be if all of these sets go 7? Those 2 sets are going to go the distance. There's not a 4-0 potential, in my mind, for either of those.
Well, that's a different atmosphere completely. The stakes are raised. Not that the quarterfinals aren't, but live on stage in front of a crowd, that is a totally different look at all of these teams. No room for error there in those moments.
And the even higher pressure. You're 1 win away from being in the finals, which means you're 2 wins away from lifting up a trophy that for some of these teams you've never gotten to. I mean, you look at NIP, they've got a few guys who have won in the past, but not any time recently. Bird and Bonker are looking for that. For a lot of the other guys, especially, and exclude Envy, but everybody essentially is looking to try and reclaim that glory or claim it for the first time.
So many storylines to follow going into next week. High Res Expo 2019, 1 week from today. Make sure you keep your eyes on @Paladins.Pro Twitter. We're going to be posting the times when we go live, everything of that nature, everything you need to know about the semifinals and the finals. As I said, semifinals next Saturday, finals next Sunday. You don't want to miss it. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.
Live from Atlanta, the players are here, the stage is set. Let's get down for esports!
This is where we also talk about the new stuff that we've got coming out for you all.
Look, HRX is literally my favorite time of year. It truly isn't close. This is what I live for.
If that's second place, I can't wait to see what first place is.
It is HRX.
Do you miss me at all? Do you think about the things we used to do? No, you couldn't stand tall.